Welcome to another edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Timothy.
And we are back with a very exciting and in the now episode 26. So, some big news for us here at It's All Relative. We have hit 1,000 plays through Apple.
Yes, we have.
So we are very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone who has helped us reach that number. Big shout out to all of you.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So let's keep spreading the word and continue to get It's All Relative out there. Let's go for another 1,000.
For real.
You know?
And then 10,000.
Yeah, let's keep it growing. But how have you been, bro?
Man, I've been good, man.
Good.
Been a little rough, but I've been good. eBay is up and down, but it's actually really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so up now, but it's doing really well. It's really competitive out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, but aside from that, no, not much else.
No?
Yeah. What about you?
Nothing. Same old.
Same old,
you know?
same old?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing too new. But let's get into today's episode, bro.
Sure. Let's go.
So I had mentioned earlier our episode is very much so in the now. So to help us discuss this story that's captivated America, ladies and gentlemen, returning guest Sarah Molnar.
Welcome.
Hey guys, what's up?
Chilling, doing well. How are you?
I'm good. How's everyone doing?
Chilling.
Yeah?
Doing very well.
Yeah,
Can't
same
complain.
here. Same here. Taking it easy.
Yeah. So Sarah, real quick, we just want to thank you for giving us some of your time and agreeing to come back on It's All Relative.
Appreciate
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Everything's been good with you since the last time you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. I was happy to hear that the episode did well. People were enjoying.
Yes.
Glad
Oh,
to
they
see
loved it.
that the podcast in general is growing for you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, actually, fans have enjoyed your episode very much. It's been a top hit in season 2 thus far.
It's
Mhm.
awesome. It's awesome.
So the fans should.
Yeah, there might be a part 2 to that because we've got activity going on in the current house too, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. My house is an old train station, so.
Oh.
Which
okay.
I think you did mention on your episode when you were here. That's
Yep,
cool
yep.
though.
So
Got some new.
cool is a word, yeah. I mean,
Got some new paranormal activity going on there.
yeah. So give it some time. Give it some time.
Well,
I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm sure the fans are will be happy, to hear from you and that you're back. So
Yep.
this is gonna be exciting.
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So you guys ready to talk about Gabrielle Petito and Brian Laundrie?
Absolutely.
So you guys are familiar with the story or somewhat, right?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's go through. Who wants to go first? I want to start from the beginning.
Mhm.
So let's just talk about as much as you know or what you've heard, so that we can piece this story together.
Sure.
I mean, like I said, this story has spread across America. Everywhere you turn,
Mhm.
people have listened
Mhm.
or are listening, are paying attention to it.
Yep.
It's ongoing still, which is another cool thing too, because a lot of the episodes that we have done about different stories and whatnot,
Right.
they have been true stories, but they've all been stories that have happened in the past.
Yep,
You know
yep.
what I'm
That's true.
saying?
Yeah.
So this one is pretty cool because it's like I said, it's in the now. We're
Right.
Ongoing.
Right.
Yeah.
in the present. So
Right. So we may be making some predictions on this.
Yeah. Right. Imagine.
Yeah, for
absolutely,
real.
yeah. This is gonna be cool. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go first because
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know as much as both of you.
which is fine. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to hear from each of you guys, so we
Okay.
could, like I said, we could piece this whole story together.
Sure.
So,
Let's go.
Yeah. Definitely. Go ahead.
So what I have heard from my girlfriend is that she was I think a TikTok star, or she was a person that she was like really well up there in some social media and very influential. And apparently she and her boyfriend, they went on like camping, something like that. And
Yep. Road trip.
he came back without her.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So where did she go? And apparently, I mean, as at least some of the stories that I've been getting, because I've just gotten it late, but apparently the guy was really jealous. I guess he was jealous of either of her fame or of what she was doing, like her success and everything.
Yep.
And just before she disappeared, apparently they got into like a big fight somewhere, like in a restaurant or something like that. And yeah, he came back without her.
He did.
Right. And then went to the parents, and then him and the parents went out somewhere, and then like he disappeared.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then they go over to the parents' house, and the parents like don't know where he is and don't really care to know where he is, and it's all wild. And now like a week ago they said Dog the Bounty Hunter is going after this man.
Yeah.
And everything. So it's wild, man.
Yeah, a lot of wild factors.
Right.
That play into this whole story.
Okay. So that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah, that's a good rough outline, rough summary.
Jesus. Okay.
Sarah, you wanna expand on that a little?
So originally, I think that I really only knew about it from what I'd just seen on social media, just bits and pieces, nothing like overly specific or no specific research. It really wasn't until you asked me to come on the episode that I watched a couple of videos just like of a timeline that everything happened. And right away, it's interesting to me that you said that he's jealous of her social media fame and whatnot, because through the body cam footage on the officer in Utah when they pulled them over, they got pulled over in Utah originally for doing 45 and a 15, and he hit a curb at the same time, and there was a whole incident that went along with that as well. But
Jesus.
When they had gotten pulled over, he was talking to the officer, and he said he doesn't even have a phone. So I think that's interesting that he's jealous of something, but he doesn't even have the means to try to go after that, you know? Like, do you not really have a phone, or like, I don't know. Is
the phone conveniently missing?
Right, yeah, exactly. Did you get rid of it? But yeah,
Who doesn't have a phone these days?
Especially if you're traveling with someone across country, away from your family. Like he's from Florida. They were living in his parents' house, so I thought that was weird.
That's wild, weird, man. That's wild.
But I took down a bunch of notes. The timeline. Ooh, ow.
Oh, you good?
The timeline. It was just crazy. You know, I want to say it happened quick, but I guess it was kind of over like a month and a half, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know. Just the way that it all transpired, I didn't really get too much into it until, you know, it's just I got a lot about.
But you took notes, though.
Yeah, I took notes. I basically wrote down almost word for word what was said in the video. But yeah, so that's kind of how I know everything. Just the videos, and then through social media, and then like I said, once we start getting more in depth about the story. But
so you want to wait till we get to the story before you say stuff?
Yeah, because this is a lot.
All right, I got that.
Did the video? Let's talk to us a little bit about the video. Did the video?
It was video.
Well,
okay.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of videos. If you just go on YouTube and type Gabrielle Petito, Brian Laundrie, it'll all pop up.
Oh, wow.
It's a big topic.
So, like Sarah had mentioned, when they got pulled over in Utah, the police officers, when they approached these two, obviously cops wear the body cam shit. You know what I'm saying? So that video is
on YouTube.
You know, recorded them and is on.
Jesus Christ!
It's about an hour and 20 minutes long, I think.
An hour long?
Yeah, I was babysitting this morning, and I managed to watch about 20 minutes of it with a 4-year-old around, so I thought that was impressive. And from what I got from it, you know, when he first pulled them over, Gabby was already upset, already crying. He was very nervous. The officer was like, can you like actually put the van in park, first of all? Like, you're getting pulled over. You know you're going to be here for a minute. Put the car in park.
Right.
Take the keys out of the ignition, whatever, puts it up on the dash, and pulls Gabby out, and Gabby's talking, and...
was she, like, crying, or was there anything, like, going on?
Yeah, no, she was, like, the officer actually mentioned it later on that she was, like, hyperventilating when he first got there.
Wow.
So, like, she was pretty upset at first.
I had heard and seen, too, that, like, I mean, I will touch on it, too, when we get there, but... when she was being talked to by the officers, she had this entire time, she was crying. She didn't stop crying the entire time, which, I mean...
she had been upset before that. Like, if you watch the footage, you can see she's visibly upset. It's not... You can't miss it.
Right.
That's why he pulled her out first for a reason.
So you were saying that she was hyperventilating. So that means was like the pressure was like really high for her.
And
there's a difference from crying.
Later on in the video, I think the two officers were speaking to her, and the one guy who had been, so the original officer who made the stop was over talking to Brian. There was another officer talking to Gabby, And the original officer came back over and said, what are you guys talking about? Whatever. She said, this is why. Oh,
no, it's okay.
My train of thought. Fuck.
It's all right. No worries.
You're good.
What were we talking about, Gabby?
So we were talking about Gabby, and you were saying that she was hyperventilating.
Oh, yes,
she
yes.
came out.
The officer who was talking to Gabby while the original officer was talking to Brian had told him something, and the officer was like, did you tell him that? And Gabby and the officer immediately said, no, she was hyperventilating when I first got here. I didn't get a chance to get much out of her.
Jesus. Okay.
So, yep.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like piece it together in my mind, and I can only imagine what she was probably going through. Like he was driving and they were probably arguing or something. He was going 45. Cop pulls her over, so she starts to panic, and he's probably yelling at her to not panic.
So she explains that she was cleaning and has really bad OCD some days, and she gets agitated due to that, and she tends to get a little bit mean when she gets agitated about it.
Okay, so she has some tendencies
too. She
too.
said she was apologizing for being mean.
Okay.
She was sorry for being in a bad mood. She's stressed from working on her vlog. She was working on getting a YouTube video up on YouTube for her vlog.
Right.
Again, like you said, I wasn't familiar that she had a big social media following, but it's a possibility if she was doing that for sure.
Right.
Brian never really supported the vlog idea, according to her, so I'm sure that was also frustrating for her.
Oh, that's interesting too.
Yeah, and at one point during the fighting, Brian apparently wouldn't let her back into the van because she needed to calm down, quote unquote. And
while the officer was there?
No, this was beforehand. This was the incident beforehand.
Gotcha.
Told her to calm down and would lock her out of the van.
Okay, so he's controlling too.
Yeah, she said that the next line I have here, she said he really stresses her out.
Right.
So,
gaslighting her and everything.
Yeah, exactly. The officer went over back to Brian, and something that I noticed is that Brian's really anxious. He's just stuttering a lot. She's very dancing around his words, doesn't really know what he wants to say, and trying to be meticulous and very specific about what he says. Right. Yeah. Let me see.
Sarah, let me ask you real quick. Let's get back to that video real quick.
Oh, my bad. Wow.
No, you good. The body cam footage.
Yeah, this is all off of there.
Yeah. Did it show did it show both Gabby and Brian?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So did it what were their how were they acting? What were their
So almost there wasn't much time for them to really act together. Like I said, the officer who originally pulled them over, pulled Gabby out kind of right away once he saw how upset she was. So obviously Gabby was upset. She was kind of calm and talking to the officer. She was being honest. And like later on, the officer actually noticed scratches on Brian's face, and she was honest about what had conspired about that. From what I seen. So like at one point the officer did say that she was the main aggressor, but at the same time it's kind of hard to.
So from everything that we've heard so far about how Gabby acts or reacts to certain things, can we say that is it safe to say that there may be some mental illness or some mental issues involving her with her?
Oh, with her, or are you talking about Brian?
No, with her.
With her.
I mean,
okay. It's interesting.
I mean, so at one point with the body cam footage, the officer did ask Brian if he took any medications, and the microphone actually during the body cam footage, the microphone would cut out occasionally. I don't know if officers have control over that. Don't ask me.
Right.
But either way, it would, and it did when he answered the question, but it came right back when he said, so you don't take any medications? And he said no. And then he asked him if Gabby did, and he said not that I know of.
Okay.
So, I mean, who knows? Okay. Who knows?
Yeah, well, if we step it back,
but she said she has severe anxiety, the OCD, and that, combination very well could,
I mean, that itself falls into some category of mental disorder.
That's how she started her conversation with the officer and saying that's why I was kind of in a crappy mood, and then I took it out on him, and I was apologizing for that. But the officer also had gotten Brian's side of the story as well.
How was he? How did he act when he was being questioned?
As soon as I find it on here, I can tell you.
No, you're good. I was just curious to know whether he, was nervous, or was he calm and collected,
See, so the thing that I've been getting, especially from my girl, is that he seemed, as soon as he was spoken to, he seemed to have been very calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
As Sarah was saying, like he would particularly choose his words to relate to the officer,
Okay.
which that means that he's not really in the state of like panicking. He's not
Right.
sweating bullets or anything.
Okay.
Like he has the whole prepared statement.
Yeah, no, Brian said, something else that Gabby had said while she was talking to the officers was that they just had a rough morning altogether. And one of the first things that Brian said when talking to the officers was, we had an okay morning in general.
In general, okay.
So, like, I thought that was interesting.
The cracks are forming.
Yeah, he said that she was working on the vlog that morning and that they actually had a very nice morning. He said that that she got worked up as he was trying to get them out and going for the day so they can go hike the arches that they were at in Utah. The officer asked about the scratches on Brian's face. He said that she had her cell phone in her hands, and that's why... He never mentioned this before, but he said he had her cell phone in her hands. That's why he was pushing her away. He locked the keys. So he got the keys and walked away so they could take a breather, said he didn't want them to go anywhere. She said she had her phone and, he said she had her phone and was trying to get the keys. It was pushing her away. He was pushing her away. He said, I know I shouldn't push her, just needed a minute to step back and breathe. Brian gestured to the scratches on his face. The officer points out a mark on his hand that Brian says was from a wire. The officer asked him about hitting that curb. He said that it was due to Gabby grabbing the steering wheel as they were driving.
Whoa, very interesting.
Brian said the speeding was him being riled up from them arguing all morning and then getting pulled over once they saw the lights, those go up. That's when Gabby grabbed the wheel, apparently.
Holy crap.
Dangerous.
So,
yeah, dangerous. What do you think about it? Do you think he was grabbing the wheel?
Yeah, right? Do you think, like...
That
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
That
You think she was grabbing the wheel?
I mean, everything that we've heard so far, it sounds like that she does suffer from some form, almost tendencies of what bipolar people go through.
That's interesting. Interesting.
People who get hot or angry real quick. And when they're in cars, there only are certain people that would grab a steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? While you're driving.
Right. That's dangerous.
For not just me, bro. But
unless the passenger and the driver are on the same page, you can't be doing that shit.
Right.
Right? And most people know that.
It's given me this idea that both of them, they, in like small little ways, they like go at each other in this relationship. Like, I guess there's like, they're like trying to vie to see who's the dominant one in this situation.
Yeah, in a way. Yep.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why the officers were struggling too, because it seems like, Gabby was really upset, but Brian is oddly calm, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Brian said that another reason why they were kind of in a rush is that they wanted to fill up the 6-gallon water thing that they had in the van that they would have, so that way they would have water for their hike. Gabby did admit to slapping Brian to the officers, and I think she said, I only say that because I forget if the microphone cut out or if the officer had said something into his radio that made it difficult to hear. But I think she said that he did not hit her, but did firmly grab her by her face, kind of under her jaw and chin.
Okay.
Kind of like to get her attention and like get in her face, I don't know if that's for sure. That's kind of what I gathered from just watching her interact with one of the officers there.
Okay.
Gabby said that they don't drink. She was yelling at them when the officer lit them up. She said that she punched his arm and that's why they hit the curb. Gabby stresses that she's got really bad anxiety. The officer shared. I actually got kind of personal with her at one point and kind of shared that he and his ex-wife both had kind of the same issues along those lines.
Okay.
And then would feed off of each other, and then it would just create, he was basically in layman's terms telling her that it would create such a toxic situation and trying to like relate to her and get her to see that like, these are the first warning signs of what could happen, you know?
Right.
He said this is the first incident, like this is the beginning.
Okay.
Because that's true. A lot of times with domestic violence and abuse, it's, one little thing and then it escalates from there.
Okay.
She said she didn't touch the steering wheel at all. Okay. So that was interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. The officers asked Brian to start his story from the top. He said that the flies had been really annoying in that area in Utah, and that was really annoying Gabby as well. His dirty feet.
Dirty feet, okay.
Yeah, because she had mentioned this OCD that she had gotten and make her anxiety go up.
That's true, okay.
And that's how the whole kind of argument began in that morning. The fact that he was dirty and the van was unorganized because he had moved some of the food, whatever.
Jesus Christ. Wow, so she was like, she used that moment to basically tell, like, air her dirty laundry.
Yeah, you know, and I think that she had said that he stresses her out a lot, so we don't know what happened before this morning. And that's kind of what's bothering me, is that nobody knows, because if she does have a big following on Instagram, social media is fake. She's only posting the highlights from those trips.
Right.
She's not posting when they're fighting.
Right.
She's not posting if, you know, he put his hands on her.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, you don't know what's going on behind that picturesque scene, that picturesque scene that they posted on Instagram that you're liking, you know?
That was that's a good point that you make. A lot of YouTubers are like that. Yeah.
What we know is only from that morning, that argument, and maybe some before that from the families, but other than that,
we don't know anything.
And Brian Laundrie's family's barely willing to cooperate, so you know. So let's see. No, he said that. He said there was nothing physical up until he wanted to take that breather, and then he said there was. When he went to take the breather and locked the van, wouldn't give Gabby the keys. He said he locked the van and then went out for a walk. And at first he said he had the phone and the keys in her hand, and then he switched it really quick and said that it was her phone and it was just her rings in the hand.
Oh,
so
Jesus
at first
Christ.
he said that he had the keys and locked the van. And then when he was saying what she had in her hands, originally he said that it was her phone and the keys. And then he switched it up real quick and said, well, no, it was just the phone and her rings. Because he was still also trying to account for the scratches on his face.
Right. So wait, did she attack him too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came into this thinking that she was like just completely an angel in all of this.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is that, but I couldn't see the scratches very well. I'm assuming that they were fresh. I don't know if they were scabbed over. I'm assuming they were fresh if the officers took it into account because, you know, they're trained. They're going to freaking look at that.
Right,
but,
they're going to figure it out.
Yeah. But either way, yeah, I don't see anyone else who would have done that other than her.
Yeah.
They're living together in a 2012 Ford Transit van, I mean.
Right, for 4 months, right? Was it a 4-month journey or something like that?
You know what? The trip started...
And I think it started here in New York, too.
It started July 2nd, 2021.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk on that real quick because, as Sarah just mentioned, the whole trip, this whole thing started July 2nd. Gabby, or Gabrielle, and Brian, they were engaged, or they are engaged.
Okay.
They got engaged a year before their trip started, actually.
Right.
Okay.
And it was for a 4-month cross-country trip.
Right. So it's the thing you do just before you tie the knot type of deal.
I don't know. That's kind of long.
Right.
It seemed like
fun?
I also, in small talk, when Brian was speaking with the officers, he also said that Gabby and him had some interest in going up to Washington where the organic farming industry was kind of booming.
Okay.
And they wanted to get more involved in that as well as in other states as well.
Organic like in marijuana?
No, organic and just like no pesticides, no like, quality vegetables, stuff like that.
All right,
and,
clean living.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me though. I'm sure that would, yeah.
Okay.
You know, but yeah. So, and I thought that was a little weird too, that he's talking about, you know, these future plans with Gabby, and now there's all this speculation about did he kill her? And I also thought it was interesting that he wasn't even a suspect right away. They didn't look at him right away.
Right.
From the time that Gabby went missing, I believe it was 4 days until they actually looked at Brian as a suspect.
Okay.
So,
did they have like any other leads?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if that was mentioned.
Okay.
Cannot confirm.
Okay. All right. It's so interesting. I mean, the whole idea that I came in with was that she was like completely innocent. He was completely controlling, but it looks like they were really just arguing with each other and these things were happening behind the scenes. Obviously, like what you
Yeah.
said, she was leading her or building her social media.
Yeah, just
and she's only
posting-
showing the highlights.
Exactly. And it's interesting to say that as I just look at my notes, I have here that, she was posting consistently that, she was in Kansas and Colorado and Utah, and they got stuck in a dust storm. So they stayed at a place in Utah a little longer than they expected.
Okay.
And then a few days later, Gabby was posting pictures from Mystic Hot Springs and then posted at another spot called Canyonlands National Park in Utah. And then 12 days went by and she did not post.
Which I do want to touch on and cover, because we did mention that she was very big into social media. What she was she was very, yes, into her social media accounts.
Mm-hmm.
She was very specific and detailed. So
Oh, I see. Interesting.
she's one of those that
Always tag the
wherever,
location.
exactly,
Right.
wherever we go, we take a picture. Let me describe a description. Let me tag the location. Let me
Hashtags.
tag every
Right.
to the detail.
And
right?
that's the reason why she was big into
Getting
social
them
media.
likes, girl.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But then, like we had said, it does come up later on, like days later. Pictures and whatnot would come up or be posted on her social accounts, but they wouldn't be. There's no description,
Yeah, there were
no
a few where there were
tags,
no tags.
detail. Just so that's a little odd. And then yes, for someone that's so into their social media that they're doing that shit on the daily,
Right.
and then to go
And they're going
days
extra lengths, yeah.
without posting anything, something's not right.
So you think that it was probably him just gassing it up to make people think that she was still around? Or still alive?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I think that it's almost a blessing that she was as detailed as she was, because at the end of the day, that helped them track where
Right.
they were in that road trip.
Right.
When did these posts start getting non-Gabby like it helped them definitely
Right.
trace where they had been, you know?
Right.
So I think that's also good that she was as detailed as she was, and enough so that people noticed, like, hey, that's weird that that's not tagged, that's not hashtag, that's not captioned, that's not Gabby, you know?
Right. So far, everything that we've talked about, we're still somewhat in the beginning, because around August 12th, Gabby posted a picture of herself on Instagram of her sitting under an arch in Arches National Park, which
Okay.
was in Utah. Okay. The photo was taken, though, August 9th, which she had, it was on her social media account, so it popped up.
Okay.
Yep.
This is when, like we had talked about, this is when the video surfaces. Police in Moab, Utah responded to a domestic problem the same day the picture was posted. They had like we had touched on, Brian and Gabby had some sort of argument.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So they both told police that they were engaged and in love and didn't want anyone to be charged with a crime. But as we had talked about, each officer had talked to them separately.
Okay.
One officer did say that Brian had said that the issues between the two had been going on for a few days, which
Sounds like way longer than that, but it makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to actually, you know what? I'll come back to that, because I do. We'll bring that up. But
sure.
Yep.
So from that was the body cam footage and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that you want to talk about the body cam footage? Because
No, I don't think so. I think that, like I said, I was babysitting this morning. The body cam footage was an hour and 20 minutes long. If you look it up on YouTube, it'll come right up. I got through the first 20 minutes of it, and I got, let me see how many I have.
Boy, she got these
a
notes
little
ready.
mini book.
For
I've got
real.
like 2.5 pages, 3 pages of notes. So there's a lot there that I think people could look at and study and really kind of dissect and form opinions about, because there was also a lot of controversy that the police didn't do enough in that stop. They should have, arrested one of them, this, that, and the third. But what you don't understand is that Brian's got the scratches on his face. Gabby probably would have been arrested. And even if she would have been arrested, yes, it very well could have saved her life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they don't want to separate, he can't force them to. They had them separate for the night.
Very true.
Brian went to the motel. Gabby took the van, and from there, if they chose to see each other, which I don't believe they did. I don't really know how that went, because apparently Brian doesn't have a phone, so I don't think that they could be in contact. But
Right.
you know,
All right, so then let's move on from that day. then, okay? Because that whole ordeal, everything, that was August 12th.
Okay.
So August 19th, an 8-minute video was put up on YouTube titled Van Life, Beginning of Our Van Life Journey. All right? And it's a photo collage and pictures of them two together.
Right, everything going on.
Right. All right. Same day, Gabby's stepfather and mother had said they last spoke with Gabby through a FaceTime call around August 23rd or 24th. All right. They said her and Brian, or excuse me, Gabby had said that her and Brian were leaving Utah and headed to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming.
Okay.
Okay. So that was August 23rd or 24th. August 30th, Nicole Schmidt, who is Gabby's mother, received a text from her daughter's phone that said, "No service in Yosemite."
Okay, which makes sense. Yeah.
All right. September 1st, Brian Laundrie returns to his house alone in Northport, Florida, in Gabby's white van.
From Utah to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, things are starting to get weird. Let's jump forward to September 11th. This is the day we all know that Gabrielle Petito is reported missing officially.
Right.
Yep.
September 15th, Brian becomes a person of interest since he was the last known person to be with Gabby, according to police.
Right. With a 4-day gap.
Took them 4 days to think, hey, maybe this guy's been traveling the country with her, has something to do with this.
That's ridiculous. No wonder they catch
Wild.
him slack. It's crazy.
Gave him plenty of time to figure out what he's going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got respect for what police do, but come on.
No, they had to figure that out ASAP. Come on.
So Laundrie, though, was advised to not speak with the authorities, and now the FBI is involved.
Okay.
Let's jump forward 2 more days. September 17th. Brian's parents are summoned, or actually, excuse me, they summon the police to their home in Florida, all right, and tell them that they haven't seen their son since September 14th. Okay?
Jesus.
Yep.
We move forward a few more days. September 19th, human remains were believed to belong to Gabrielle Petito were found in a national forest in Wyoming.
So she disappeared in Utah and her body was found in Wyoming?
No, remember, they were on their way.
They're on their way, to Wyoming. I got you.
So once that happened, a search warrant was executed on the Laundrie's house.
Okay.
Now we jump forward to September 21st, which was the day that it was confirmed manner of death was by homicide.
Okay.
Okay.
Do they know what type was it? Was it strangulation, stabbing?
No, and that's what I was going to bring up too, because I did not hear or see anything. I didn't know if you guys had heard or
I have no idea.
I didn't get anything about that.
I don't know if anything's been released about that, which also is a little strange too, because I had a question about that when they had said, that they had found body parts.
They
or
found body parts.
Or I don't know, like parts of, or when they found her. But I wanted to know the state that she was in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I wasn't sure if they released.
Right. And it would have also been interesting, like if they found it and she was choked to death, they could actually do like a test around her neck to see.
The forensics of it, they could do so much to figure out.
Now. Right.
No, I mean, I know that they forensically confirmed that it was her. I don't know if they did any other. I would imagine they probably did investigation beyond that, but I don't know how decomposed the body was either.
Right. That's true too. That's very true.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like there wasn't much information about.
Yeah. How much could they really get from it?
Right. I mean.
But she was
the body wasn't burnt.
It wasn't burnt, but she was all intact, right? She all her body parts was there.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
That's why the
Something
information
that
about that was so scarce.
Right.
They haven't released
the way that my mind worked it when I first heard them say forensically confirmed was that she was decomposed or messed up enough to where they couldn't recognize her face.
Okay.
So they had to do bone marrow or dental records, something like that, to figure out who she was. So, I mean, I think that's a good determination about her condition when they found her.
Right.
If they had to run tests like that to prove it, they couldn't just look at her face and have someone come down to the morgue to confirm. Like,
Right.
you know?
It also in a way kind of means that as soon as they started going towards Wyoming, that's when she disappeared. So that if he's like the prime suspect, that may be when he killed her.
But where did it happen?
Right.
Yeah.
May have happened in the car.
How long did he travel in that van? And that van
Right.
was taken from the parents' house to be investigated.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. Again, Gabby and Brian lived with Brian's parents a year, I believe, before the road trip began.
Okay.
Yeah, which that in itself is very strange too, because it said that
and
when he
Laundrie's
showed
family
up,
wouldn't speak to them.
Yeah, when he showed up back at home, he showed up with her van, like that, bro.
And without her,
exactly, bro. That's her van.
And they just took her in.
The cops literally gave her the van that night for a reason. Like, it's her van.
Right.
Yeah. So as of September 21st, Brian Laundrie is missing. Okay, confirmed missing. It is last said that he was heading to the Carlton Reserve in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
So he was last seen going into some sort of woods or forest.
And going further south. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, swamp country, alligators, bunch of weird stuff. But now, not only are police involved, FBI involved, like one of you guys had mentioned.
Yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter is involved now too.
Yes, sir.
So this story is sad, a sad story, but weird. Lots of weird unanswered questions.
Right. And the biggest one, where is your boy at?
Yeah, where you at, Brian?
We got to catch him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get all our thoughts, opinions, predictions, and whatnot about him and about that after we take our break. But you guys want to touch on anything else about the story or about the facts of the story itself? Anything else? So I hope we were able to piece together somewhat of a timeline so everyone, the listeners and whatnot, can understand.
What I will say is your notes are way more organized than mine. So,
and I will also add this actually. Part of the reason, part of the way they found her, apparently it was a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram who also like joined
did their own research and
did their own research, and they were piecing it together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's crazy. They were saying, at least my
shout out to those guys. Like, come on,
for real. They're like the real hunters on this thing. Yeah. Social media is wild, bro.
It is. It does remind me of. I mean, I think you and I, Sarah, have talked about this in the past, but have you guys seen the documentary on Netflix called "Don't Fuck with Cats"?
No,
I have not.
Whoa.
I remember us talking about it, but I didn't watch it.
Whoa. It's literally like a story about where like a bunch of people get on the computer and track this person, this murderer down.
Damn.
Like, and it's crazy. They follow step by step. They put it together.
Right.
Like,
somebody getting the list together. Jesus.
No, once you know what you're doing on a computer, you can really do some scary stuff. And I'll tell you what, there's even people on TikTok who will go on the internet and pretend to be like these young girls and like lure pedophiles in and then confront them as like a grown man and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what, come on.
good for them.
Yeah, right? I love whenever
them.
those videos pop up, I'm like, shit, man, good for you.
Catching them all.
We should say that is one
Gotta
thing,
do it.
One thing that we do not stand
You
for.
want to deal with
here.
me or the police? Pick one, bro.
It's all relative.
Right, get rid of them.
Yep.
Do not agree. We do not condone that pedophile shit.
That is
shit.
not relative. Never has been.
Get them all out of here.
Never was. Never will be.
But all right, let's take a quick break. But before we do, we want to remind everyone to please find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google.
And Google.
And by using the platform of your choice, please subscribe, follow, share, comment, leave a quick review and a 5-star rating on the Apple page.
Please light it up.
Do it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with that
Do it
being
up.
said, we'll be right back.
All right.
still with us in the studio, Sarah Molnar.
Hello.
So far we've heard the story. We've pieced it together. All right. Now I want to ask a few questions, get everyone's thoughts, opinions, predictions.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with some questions. All right. I want you guys real quick to play a parental role real quick. All right.
Okay.
Now, as we mentioned, there is an age difference. Okay. So Gabby is 22 and Brian, who is her fiancé,
Right.
or was, whatnot, is 37. You guys cool? Let's, from a parental stance, you guys cool with the age gap?
I think it's interesting that he was 37 and still living with his parents. I think that
I'm on that boat
right
too.
off the bat, that's a red flag. Just not even coming as a parental side, just coming as a
Right.
girl who is a year younger than Gabby. That's a red flag right off the bat.
Right.
Parental, yeah, it's a little concerning.
Now, from a parental role as well, would you be okay with your daughter taking a cross-country trip?
Probably not.
Not for that extended, not like what they were doing. Like taking a trip, like going for a week, coming back, whatever. That's one thing. But, going for months on end like that, probably not, no.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. 4
Yeah.
months. What about you, Tim?
Yo, I would not do it. Not even for that long. Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't let your daughter?
No, I would not. I would not let my daughter. There would be no way.
Okay.
No way.
Especially knowing what I know about, first of all, being around the same person for an extended period of time, you're bound to get a little sick and tired of them
Right.
pretty quick,
That's the problem.
That's bound to happen in, whether you're romantic relationship, brother, sister, doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. But I'm like it was mentioned, they were engaged.
Engaged, yep.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a good
They should be able to be
beginnings-
around each other.
Engaged,
Right.
not married,
It's
though.
a good beginning stage.
Shit.
Good beginning stage of marriage, of the beginning of
Yep.
it. You know what I'm saying? Your
Yeah.
ass is gonna be stuck together for 4 months. You're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna see a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're gonna hate each other,
Yep.
obviously.
I mean, yeah, you'll learn. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next question.
Let's go.
When they were pulled over in Utah, let me get you guys' opinions. Police mishandle the situation.
Yeah, they totally mishandled that shit. Or at least they mishandled it later on, where they took 4 fucking days to figure everything out and put Brian on blast. They could have also done any number of things. They could have said, where are your parents? We're going to get you on a flight back home. We're going to figure out how to keep you both separate. But at the same time, I guess there's, at least for when it comes to police, if there's not really anything that's glaringly obvious, they have to let it go. And I'm really torn between those two ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I feel like they could have did more.
right. Not obvious, but there were definitely warning signs when Gabby is sitting there crying.
Right.
The back and forth, the emotional,
Right.
emotional stuff. What do you think, Sarah?
I definitely think I agree that obviously, yes, later on when they didn't immediately expect Brian as a suspect and they waited those 4 days, I think that was a little ridiculous.
Right.
But as far as when they pulled them over, I think that, again, when I spoke earlier about the officer kind of getting a little personal with Gabby and saying that me and my ex-wife had this similar kind of situation where it starts off as this. He tried to reason with her. And at least here where we're from, I think it's a little rare for officers to get personal with you like that because
Right.
that's just not something that, I don't want to say they're not supposed to, but a lot of times they just don't because that's their job. That's their, they're in uniform, whatever it may be.
Right.
I think there's only so much that they can do when, if you watch the body cam footage, they're both trying to protect each other. At one point, Brian just said there was another scratch on his arm and the officer saw it and the officer said, "Hey, is that tender or bruised?" He said, no, I'm not worried about it. I love Gabby. Like, you know, it's hard.
He had to say that he loved Gabby at that moment.
Right.
Okay.
It's hard to do anything when those people don't want the help.
Right,
if they're not
right.
going to accept it, they cannot force that on them, and they can't discriminate against that age gap either.
Okay.
They can't look at her and be like, you know, and I didn't watch the full body cam footage, so I don't know if they ever mentioned the parents. But they can be like, hey, like, why are you with him? Like, that's not their discretion. They can't do that.
That's very true. But I think maybe they were looking to just make sure that it's not something that could go south.
Yeah, and they separated them for the night. And Brian doesn't have a phone,
Right.
but who's to say that they didn't meet up that night? I don't know. I'm sure that there is some videos, some facts about that somewhere.
Right.
I don't know whether they were in contact that night or not, but, you know, there's only so much you can do for people if they're not willing to reach out. But again, I think that's
very true.
it's
That's true.
it's a beginning stage type of incident. However, it escalated to the final stage very quickly with Gabby being dead.
Right.
So
it literally happened within a day, if not hours.
and I think that's another thing is that officers, I think they see that beginning stage all the time, but I don't know how often it escalates that quickly, but I would assume not often.
No. This seems to be very abnormal.
It seems a little calculated, if you ask me.
Right. Do you think that he was? Do you think he really calculated that all within that time span, or do you think that this was like on a spur of the moment and it's like, oh shit, I gotta figure out what to do?
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if it was something that he planned, just especially after that incident. Especially, maybe, yeah. I would say after that incident, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something that he planned. And then again, those 4 days in between when he wasn't identified as a suspect, he could have planned anything to get away.
That's true.
He could have booked a flight, changed his name, done whatever he had to do because they weren't paying attention to him.
Right.
So he could be anywhere right now. We don't know where he's at. Like,
then I got yet another question for both of you. Do you think that his parents are in on this?
absolutely.
You think? Okay.
They're a little too nonchalant, you know?
Right.
A little too nonchalant. And earlier I had mentioned just seeing things on social media. A video had popped up, I want to say either TikTok or Instagram. And it was just a video of, Brian's parents just tending to their vegetable garden in the backyard while their son is missing and their future daughter-in-law is dead.
Right.
That seems a little, I don't know. I'd be a little bit more impacted.
Right. Or not
I really
being
wouldn't,
seen at all.
Yeah. Yep.
What about you, Josh? What do you think?
Yeah, I want to get back to the looking at it from a parental stance. I mean, one reason why I do think, to answer your question, I'm sure that they didn't. It is very strange how they acted or did not act. You know what I'm saying? They weren't very cooperative with police. They were definitely not cooperative with Gabby's family.
They weren't.
Yep.
Which then makes you do wonder why. But then I'm curious because I'm sure that if Brian did kill Gabby, then they're covering for their son. You know what I'm saying? They're not,
regardless of if they're in on it or not. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, even so, they may know. I mean, he may have told them too, the whole story. And they have decided, it's a horrible thing, but we're gonna protect our son.
Right.
All right. So now, from a parental stance, and I'm sorry to answer your question. That's
right.
why I think that they are.
They're part of this.
In a sense of that they're helping him, or that they did help him.
Right.
But I want to ask both of you from another parental stance: if your child came to you and said that they made a mistake, or they had just committed a murder, would you fault? I mean, would you fault the Laundries right now for protecting their child?
Absolutely. I wouldn't protect.
No.
Because I'm a firm believer that you're a product of your environment, and your parents or your parental guardians, whether it be your aunt, uncle, grandparents, whoever raised you and you consider your parent.
For real.
They shape who you are, and I wouldn't want that reflecting back on me.
No.
Because I'm not raising a murderer
right.
or anything along those lines. It's not.
Right. And if it comes to be and my son comes by and says I murdered my fiance and such and on, and be like, look, I'm gonna have to call the police on you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love you, but you
no.
have committed a murder.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I cannot protect you.
You took someone else's life. That was someone else's kid. That's not, yeah.
Right. And it speaks to what you were saying. I'm not trying to raise a murderer, so if a murder happens with him,
you're on your own, bud.
Yeah, you're on your own. You did what you did.
Love you, support you, do what I can. But
especially if you add on to the fact that he's 37. He's like way up there. So he's like well grown.
He's a grown ass man.
Well grown, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious. I wanted to look. I didn't have time to really look into his background.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Excuse me. I mean, we don't know what kind of mental state this dude is in. You know what I'm saying?
At one point, the officer did ask him why he, when he asked him if he was on medications, he said, "You're just very hyper." And Brian said, "Oh, well, when you see those lights go up behind you, your heart rate tends to go up and then you get really, uppity," which is true. It is true. So.
Yeah. All right. So what were your guys' thoughts when you heard that Brian showed up back to his house without Gabby in her van? You automatically assume or think that.
Immediately, I thought him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he killed him.
And I didn't think that she was alive anywhere either. I immediately thought, okay, well, where's her body? Like, there wasn't a thought of, is she stranded somewhere? That wasn't even.
Right. It makes me wonder, like, how did it go so far that he felt like he needed to kill her and get rid of her? Why couldn't he just strand her, like you were saying?
Right.
Strand her or put her somewhere. Look, we're going to have to break up right now. I'm leaving. And go somewhere, go back home and tell her don't come back. It's even better than just like killing her.
That's what I mean by like calculated. Like, it's just, I don't know.
That's wild, man.
That's very true. I mean, we saw how frustrating it may be having somebody act or react the way that Gabby was acting or reacting.
Right.
Yep.
But I mean, to take someone's life because of that, let's take the easy route, bro. Let's separate.
Let's separate, right. We don't have to go to extremes, right?
Yeah, let's, cut the trip short. Let her go back to Long Island. Let him go back to Florida. Like, just take a break,
Right. And they could have did it right then and there and said, look.
Yeah, right after that incident. Honestly, if I was in Gabby's shoes after that incident, that night you got pulled over, whatever, he had scratches from her. And obviously, I don't know if there was something that made her want to do that, but if there was, it's obviously pent up. Like she said, he stresses her out. It's pent up rage. It's pent up something.
Right.
So it's an ongoing thing. After that incident, I probably would have been like, okay, like we need to cut it short, go home, take a breather.
And honestly,
a real breather.
The way, like, even a lot of the police stuff that happens is so interesting because it does give like a peek into their background.
Yeah.
The way that they were so controlled, or at least he was controlled in responding to the officer.
Right.
They must have been like physically abusing each other or fighting each other for a long time.
And you think about that too. And like the parents, though, Brian's parents didn't want to cooperate with the police.
Right.
And Brian's doing the same thing.
Right.
So again, going back to the parental thing, you see where he gets it from.
Yeah,
They didn't want to speak to the police.
Right.
They did not want to speak to the police until they wanted to report Brian missing themselves as well.
That's crazy. That way, they let's say if they are helping, they
got their
publicity. Yeah, you good. Say that 3 times fast.
Nope, not even gonna try it again. They got their attention when they asked to speak to police about Brian's whereabouts, and that's what they got. And apparently, we still haven't found him. Well,
Jesus.
Yeah, I want to talk about the.
That's ridiculous.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the social media aspect and how Gabby was so detailed in all her posts and whatnot. We had touched about that. Like we had said, she was always detailed, direct with everything. Now, when the posts surfaced on her social media accounts, the ones that were not in so much detail, did you guys think, or would that be something that was different or odd to you? Would you think anything of it?
Yeah. Because you gotta, when you make those tags and those hashtags and whatnot, that's a part of your numbers and getting the attention to your posts. So I think it'd
Right.
be odd if she would stop doing that all of a sudden, if she was interested in really growing that page, that Instagram page. And, she was working on her YouTube channel, making the vlogs and stuff like that. So I think it is bizarre that she would randomly stop doing that stuff that would boost her numbers.
Okay. Do you think that the police and the FBI could catch on to something like that?
I would hope that there's at least someone who is aware that, those
Right.
things are kind of important to someone her age and what she's really out to do.
Right. Apparently,
I would hope so. Yeah. I would really hope that someone would take that into consideration, or they would listen to this podcast and think about it.
For real. Think about it. Listen to the podcast and think about it. But I was going to say the internet sleuths, they were on point.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, they were. Yep. They did all the investigative work on their own,
Right.
So at the time that these strange posts were being put up, do you guys think that she was already dead at this time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's when the strange posts
I would
started.
say so.
Yeah.
I would say so, because there was a picture, and it wasn't even of her face either. It was just her in some random remote location, just her looking at the van. It was just her legs, her knee down.
Really?
Just a scenic view. Yeah. That was one of the pictures that was posted without a tag or any hashtags or anything.
Right. He could have easily just looked through her phone and said, okay, I'm going to use this picture and just,
And it
post
also brings up the question, he doesn't have a phone. Maybe he didn't know about or how to do all those stuff.
That's very interesting.
But
didn't
he
know how
also ended up posting a picture himself on his own account at one point as well.
I thought he doesn't have a phone. How the hell did he do that? He logged her out
He told the police he doesn't have a phone. It's on the body cam footage.
Fucking lie.
Do you know what the picture was?
I think it was just of him in front of the arches in Utah, I believe.
Okay. All right, so you both are in agreement that Brian would be the one then sending those.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or posting those.
Definitely,
For sure.
yeah.
If
Okay.
not him, his parents is doing it. So you never know.
Well, yeah, his parents wouldn't be able to do it at that time because this would still be. the
Right.
time
Yeah, he wouldn't
when
have been
they're-
home.
Yeah, he's
Right.
not home yet.
It really speaks to him to be very methodical. Maybe he did really plan this out if he knows that much.
Yeah, has the picture. That's
Right.
that's kind of what I'm saying. It happened quick, but you know what? Maybe he wanted it to be this quick. He just wanted
Well,
be out.
is it a possibility that he did not do this by himself? You think maybe somebody else was involved? The possibilities are endless right now because we don't know, because this is still ongoing.
This whole phone thing is really throwing me off, because I want to say that there's a potential that his parents were involved from the start. However, I don't know how he'd be keeping in touch with his parents if he doesn't have a phone. And there's
Right.
no way he'd be doing it on Gabby's phone.
Right.
Not
So-
without her figuring it out.
What I'm figuring out is that he had a phone and it became a burner phone and he just yeeted that thing somewhere.
Right. That
Right.
had to be because like I said, that body footage, I know for a fact he said he does not have a phone.
Right.
So
I mean, between where it was Wyoming, right? But so between Wyoming and Florida, that phone could be literally anywhere. That supposed phone of his.
one of the many he could have had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Shit.
All right, so Brian now has returned home, right, to Florida. His parents are not cooperative at all, but then do inform police that that the last time they saw him was a few days
Okay.
ago.
Yes.
All right. Now, what are your thoughts about this kid's disappearance? I shouldn't say kid, excuse me. About this man's disappearance.
So I've actually got something here in the video that I had watched, and before we wrap up, I do want to pull out my phone and get the video on YouTube that I was watching.
Yeah, go for it.
But the family, they said that the last time they saw him was Tuesday, September 14th, when he was going to the county park. The family took his car to search for him on Wednesday and drove his Mustang back Thursday morning. However, Eyewitness News confirmed the vehicle was in the at the house Wednesday. There was a video where you can see the Mustang in the driveway
Okay.
as they were at the Laundrie's house, I believe, before they were cooperating and wanting to talk to the police.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Where did they get this footage? Did they go
It
there
was
to the
just
house?
on. It was just on the news. The Eyewitness News has had it. They were just doing just live footage there. I assume just surveillance. I think that they were going up to the house to try to see if the Laundries would come out and talk, and they could just not even intentionally trying to film the car, just in the background. There it is, parked in the driveway on Wednesday when they were supposedly at the park looking for Brian.
And so they're following after the police, so they probably didn't even stop to think that the car was there. They just did not know.
Right. At that time, I believe after they searched for him, then they reported him missing.
Okay.
So, because remember, the only time that they wanted to speak to the police, they asked to talk to the police once they wanted to report Brian missing.
Right.
So.
Right. And so that makes it interesting. I know that
that's just more and more, I think they're involved.
Right. And it also speaks to him possibly being still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is something I've kind of been bouncing back and forth about in my head as well.
Okay.
About whether Brian Laundrie's alive or not.
So wait, if that's the case, do you think that the parents are ruthless enough to not show any emotion knowing that their son is now dead too?
I don't really know if they would or wouldn't. I think that they're the kind of people who wouldn't want to lose their son to something like this.
Right.
If they're willing to protect him, I don't think they're willing to lose him over it.
Right. And
otherwise, they would just let him go to jail.
They would let him go to jail. And that's the reason. That's how you know that, one, he's still alive somewhere. And two, they have to be in on it.
They know where he is.
They know exactly where he is. And he's probably not in the U.S.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely agree. Like we've touched on, his parents are covering for him or helping him. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I do think, too, that it's a good possibility that they may not know everything in detail on his whereabouts or his plan.
Right.
But they've got, I'm sure that he has told them,
They've
or at
got
least
more
giving
information
them,
than they're saying.
giving them an idea, because they have to somehow stay in contact or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I do too agree that he's still alive, although he has been missing for a long time, living in the woods. He was last seen going into some set of wilderness in Sarasota, Florida, which we had mentioned too.
Okay.
Swampland,
Right.
alligators. The environment itself is a little dangerous.
A little sketchy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
A little bit.
You guys did say, or did you guys mention that he is an outdoorsman, so he will know how to survive. It doesn't matter if he's down there
they
in
had
the
been
swamps.
traveling across the country and camping out at all different locations. So
Okay.
even just from their trip alone, he had experience. You know.
Right.
And if we go to the other side, if he is dead or has died, no one's been able to find a body yet.
Right.
So I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, which also makes me think he's probably still alive. Which
Right. Man, I feel like if anyone can figure this out, the FBI has to figure it out, because they could just as easily, they can do things that are outside of the norm. They can tap the phone. You know what I mean?
yeah, they've got special resources they could
can
definitely use.
Pick up transmissions, or even if they just want to go in, they can just get a warrant and see if their parents have like a burner phone. Because I have a feeling they have multiple phones
or
too.
a hidden place in that house that he's been hiding in right under their nose the whole time.
Right.
Well, they had a search warrant for the house, so I believe that the police, everyone, they've been able to go through the house and search it. You are right. I'm sure that those phone lines are tapped. Everything is being watched. The house, I'm sure, is being watched.
Right.
So
Definitely.
it's possible that any communication since the time he disappeared, it's quite possible that there hasn't been any, because this plan could have been set in motion. He would have already had an idea, and like I said, given them a general idea of, all right, by this date I should be here, and then maybe by this date I'll be here. Obviously, no, we cannot call because
That's interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, and at one point, Gabby's parents said that they received a text from Gabby, but they didn't believe that it was from Gabby.
Okay.
And, that also says something.
Right.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too. I wish I could remember what the text was, but I do remember reading that and them saying that it was it didn't seem like
it didn't seem like Gabby's style of texting.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to know her daughter better than anybody. It's true.
Do you guys think, if he's still alive, do you think he'll end up getting caught? Or do you think he's going to be able to outsmart the public, the police, FBI, Dog the bounty hunter?
Right.
I mean, it's been a while.
I think they're gonna catch him, but
I don't think he's gonna get away with it. I think
Right.
he's either gonna get caught or end up dead just from running.
right, or found somewhere.
Yeah.
But I really believe, and I would not be surprised if he's in another country right now. Especially the further south he's going. I'm guessing he's getting close to Cuba. He's getting close to Mexico. He's getting close to Brazil. Those are places where you can disappear.
I'm also wondering how our best friend COVID is affecting his attempts at running, though.
That's true. That's
with
very
flying
true.
and getting out of the country or state to
Right.
state if he needs to. There was also something somewhere where he had hitchhiked at one point as well. He had stopped a woman, said, I need a ride to Jackson. And the couple that he had stopped just happened to be going to Jackson, and he introduced himself as Brian, and she later identified him as Brian
That's
Laundrie.
very- Wow.
Yeah, see, I do want to bring up one thing too. I don't think that I'm willing to bet good money. He's a fugitive right now. He's not flying, so he's not going to fly. I do want to touch on this article that actually was given to me. I'm actually going to shout it out because it was my ma who sent it to me.
Okay.
you go.
Shout outs to Ma.
But
Always.
there,
Hey, moms.
For real.
absolutely, there was a hiker, okay, that claims to have seen Laundrie in Tennessee near the North Carolina border.
Interesting.
Okay. The hiker named Dennis Davis said that when he had his encounter with Laundrie, he didn't think much of it. But after he looked up the photos and saw that it was definitely Laundrie, the article had said that he's a fugitive because he's also wanted on debit card fraud charges.
Say that
Wow.
5 times fast.
Yeah, for real.
I'm sorry.
So that means
It's
he's
worse than, no, I'm not even going to try to say it again. Go ahead.
Publicity.
publicity.
Nope.
So that also means that he's not using cards either. He's using cash if he's still alive and using money, or he's not using money.
Yeah,
at
definitely.
all.
If he's traveling, he's on the move, he's got to be using cash.
Right.
Which begs the question, how much cash does he have?
That's true.
And this also goes right back to the parents. How are you getting cash and not showing active on your bank? You know,
Right.
which I don't know if that's been looked into. I don't
Right.
know if we have that info, but
I'm sure the FBI is probably looking to see if Gabby's money is being tapped, if she has money, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
as a social media, she was like an influencer.
if
at
she's
this point,
influencer, yeah, definitely.
and she got mad money or got enough.
And I don't know if her Instagram is still up or not either. I know Brian's, I believe, is taken down.
Okay.
Yeah.
This shit is wild. I'm sorry. It's wild stuff.
It is. It is. And it's still just crazy to me. This is current, This isn't history. This is happening right now.
So the hiker Davis, or Dennis Davis, he goes on to say that he could immediately tell something wasn't right with Laundrie
Okay.
when they had their encounter.
Okay.
All right. He said that Laundrie looked mentally, quote unquote, mentally shot. All right. So obviously
Mentally
the
shot.
stress, the tiredness. And then he did say this is in Tennessee, at the Tennessee and North Carolina border. He was last seen in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
So he's traveling north.
That's good for us. That's good.
Okay. But the driver,
Shit.
who was Laundrie, he stated that he was lost and trying to get to Cali after getting into a fight with his girlfriend. So
Trying to
that's
get to
what-
Cali.
So that's what he had told this hiker in there.
Now, why did
Encounter.
they start? Was it just like a person-to-person encounter, or did someone initiate something? I want to know how they started talking.
So what I remember in the article was it just so happened it was early or late, however you want to call it. It was like 12:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I guess they were coming to it was a small private or dirt road or a road
Right.
that's not out in the open, right? And
So
there was
funny you mentioned that. Go ahead.
there was a U-turn or whatnot, and this guy, this hiker, I don't know, he was hiking. He had originally planned on parking his car in one area and camping in his car, and then the next day he would hike to the destination.
It's fucking crazy.
But while he was there in the spot, he just so happened to see this
See
person
him.
pulling a U-turn. They pull up together and ask, is everything okay?
Right.
And I guess the person that he's claiming, Brian Laundrie, had said, that he was trying to get to Cali. He was lost. He was trying to figure out which route or which was the best way to get to Cali,
Was,
blah, blah, blah.
was this a little bit after he was seen down in Florida? Or is this before?
No, this is after.
This is after?
This
Okay.
is after the last time that he was seen in Cali. So, in Florida. So that was the date. I can't remember, actually.
Okay, my
the
bad.
date you good. That he was last seen, I believe, September 21st was the
Okay.
last time he was seen in Florida. And then this article surfaced afterwards.
Right. So he's really good at thinking on his feet. He may not be going to Cali. He may just threw that guy off and said, "Oh, I'm going to tell him I'm going to Cali and I'm coming up towards New York or something."
So back to your comment
real.
about the dirt road.
Right.
There was, in the first video that I was looking at for reference when I was getting a better idea of the situation, in Teton County, a video on the back dirt road, like you had just said, was taken where what appeared to look like the Ford Transit van was parked off to the side. August 27th around 6 p.m. That video was taken. And the clip in the video that I watched, you saw it, and it looked just like the van. There was no confirmation that that was the van. However, if I had to guess with what you just told me, I mean, we're making connections with two people's notes right here. Come on now. Come on now.
I mean, there's so many different ways that this story can end. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different twists and turns, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if this guy's gonna get found. You know,
I hope so.
I mean, we do hope so.
Because if
Obviously,
you're not guilty, why are you running? What is there to run
For
from?
real.
right? I mean, there's still plenty of questions that I wish could be answered. I do want to ask you guys, though, because this story, or part of this story, does remind me of another true life story that had happened involving Brian Laundrie and his parents, and how and kind of the view and whatnot of how the parents are acting right now and reacting with their son. So it seems like they're protecting him despite what he may have allegedly done.
Right.
You guys ever heard of a guy named Johnny Truelove?
No.
Can't say I have.
So there's a story, right, that happened, or an incident that was real life, where this kid had a bunch of friends and whatnot, and they were doing small time little criminal stuff and whatnot. And what ended up happening was somebody ended up owing him money.
Okay.
Okay. They refused to pay. The beef got a little heavy. So the individual ended up kidnapping the kid's brother.
Okay.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Right.
So
No good.
no good.
No good.
But I mean, you're owed a good amount of money.
Right.
How you gonna get back at this person? You just so happens
Kidnap,
you
yeah.
see the kid's brother. They snatch him up.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Now it goes on to where they got to decide what they're going to do, because obviously kids missing, the kid's parents and whatnot
They're flipping out.
get the authorities involved. There's a missing
He's a missing
person
person.
now.
Right.
So now it's going to be news, national news,
Yep,
whatnot. So what ends up happening, they got to decide, like, you know, we already jumped headfirst into this. We kidnapped this kid without even thinking.
Right.
What now?
We can't let him go. He could
do anything.
tell.
Right.
You know, he could open his mouth and tell the whole story. So then, you know, bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. What ends up happening is the kid, the main, or Johnny Truelove, ends up telling his crew, his boys, that you know, get rid of him.
Get rid of the kid.
You gotta
Yep.
kill him.
Yeah.
So and they do. They kill this kid, and what ends up happening is slowly everybody that was involved all gets arrested, all gets picked up.
Okay.
Yep.
Johnny Truelove ends up escaping and on the run for years and years and years and years.
Okay.
FBI, police, whatnot, they always go to his father's house and always ask his father, you know, how is it possible that he got out of the country, you know? And his father played the same role and did the same thing. He
Was nonchalant.
He protected his son.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, he would not give
Wild parents.
not give the cops anything. But I mean,
And this based on a true story?
yeah.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
There's a movie about it and whatnot too. But just saying, that's the. I mean, it is different views. You could look at it as, you know, maybe a little sick, but at the same time, you know, you do somewhat understand. Like, I mean, it is horrible what they did.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, that's your
But, I mean,
kid.
you think that's yours, and what if it's your one and only kid? You know, you're gonna protect
Your
him.
miracle baby. Yeah.
Right,
You're
right.
gonna protect that kid no matter what. So,
Can't say I would do the same, but shit. Jesus.
but that situation, this whole story and whatnot, reminds me of that story as well. So,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you want to do spoilers or anything, but how does that story end?
he ends up getting caught.
He ends up getting caught.
He ends up
After
getting
years
caught
and years, you said
after
that.
years in a different country. I forgot what.
See? That different country.
But he was able to get to different countries, and he was financed through everything through
Before
his father.
COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. Jesus.
Well, yeah, this happened quite a long time ago, but
Okay.
everything was financed through his father, you know. But it just went on to show, like, the bond, the love, the loyalty,
Right.
that despite what you did, we still gonna have to figure this out.
Jesus Christ.
You're gonna have to live your life completely different because you're gonna be on the run for the rest of your life.
Right.
This may be the second retelling of this entire thing. I mean, it has the same
History
things.
repeating itself.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, you guys think that he'll get caught
Eventually, yeah.
eventually?
Yeah.
I don't think, based off that hiker's encounter you just said, the mentally shot part, you always hear people talk about once someone commits a crime like that, murdering someone, anything along those lines, the mental toll to not be caught and have to live with that and run and
Right.
knowing that you could be caught literally any second of any day,
Right.
that does a lot to you're not sleeping, you're probably not getting the chance to eat, you're
Right,
on the
right.
move constantly. It takes a toll on your body and your mental health. So I don't think that he's fit to do that. I think once again, the run is going to take him out, is going to kill him, or he's
Okay.
going to get caught.
Yeah, the
Jesus.
stress,
And getting caught just might save his life,
the stress and the guilt.
He's
would
gonna
weigh
look
heavy.
he's gonna look entirely different when he's caught versus when all this originally happened.
Like really gaunt and skinny.
He's
and
gonna
everything.
look like
Beard
he's
and
an
everything.
addict that's on like a bender for however long. Like
Jesus Christ.
he's gonna be
Damn.
That is if he's guilty and did it and actually has all this on a guilty conscience.
Well, I mean, this man, if he
Speculation.
if he wasn't guilty, he would have just showed up and been like, "Hey guys, you know,
I didn't
wasn't
do
me.
it. I
didn't
don't
do
know what to
anything."
tell you.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm
Like you're going out of your way, bro.
yeah, I'm
Right.
sure it's safe to say right now that he's definitely guilty or had knowledge or he has
something.
some part to do with this because after this whole fiasco, bro, like
Well, it's so interesting. If they do catch him, they don't have anything on him, even if they do catch him.
That's true.
this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. They because I mean he just became. I mean they have the fraud charges. That's why he's a fugitive. When
Fugitive.
it comes to the whole murdering thing of Gabby, you're correct.
Yeah.
He doesn't technically. He
And
was
that's almost the
just,
scary part because if he just goes in for that fraud, I would assume that's I don't know what the sentence would be, but
Right.
definitely nothing compared to what if he would have done to Gabby, what that sentence would be.
Right.
Like
Right.
you're not, yeah.
Right.
yeah, murder is a little different than little.
Just a
fraud
tad.
charges.
Right. But let's be honest. If they catch that man on fraud, they basically gonna use
They're
the
grilling
maximum.
him on that too,
Right, right, right.
absolutely, just to keep him in, just that way they can get their investigation and give themselves the time to
Yeah.
advance technology to figure out what the hell happened.
Right,
with,
and they're for
with
sure
Gabby.
they will for sure use like the courts to be like, how long can we keep this man
Yeah,
on ice?
I was a
Yeah.
big fan of, I binge watched Forensic Files probably a couple months ago, and a big thing that a lot of old cases were solved just because over time how technology evolves,
Right,
they're able to just do more with the evidence that they have.
right.
So I think that's interesting too, if he is on the run for years, to see what technology comes up and how they find him and
Mm-hmm.
get him guilty on the murder charge too.
Okay, it's crazy.
Yeah.
On that homicide,
He done it.
he did it.
He done it.
He did it.
Yeah. I do agree.
Yes.
I think that
Yes.
he definitely has Like, he definitely has something to do with it.
Okay.
Some part involved with all this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get everyone's predictions though. You both had said he's getting caught.
Yep.
Who's catching him? Or does he? I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
Who's catching him, or does he turn himself in?
I definitely don't think he's gonna turn himself in. I'm definitely convinced that he's gonna run until it kills him, and then he'll either never be found and it'll deteriorate, and that'll be it, or he's gonna get caught and it'll be. I don't think he's. I want to say he's not gonna go out easy, but I don't know if he's ever gonna have the means to not go out easy. Like, I don't know. I feel like he'd be one to fight at one point or another once he's quote unquote caught, or maybe even hold a hostage or two. I feel like it's going to be a big scene as far as when he'll be caught.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because you got to keep in mind with social media, this is only so big right now again because social media has such a big influence and it's on there. Everything dies down eventually.
Right.
And once it does, how quickly is that case going to move? So I don't know, just the random number keeps popping into my head, 8 months, a year, till they find him maybe.
It's a long time to be on the run.
Yeah.
I think
It's a big crime to murder your girlfriend.
it really is.
Fiancé, excuse me.
But to be able to successfully be on the run for that long period of time, that's
But
I don't
again,
know,
they're
that's
clueless
tough.
right now.
Definitely clueless.
I mean, I know Dog is on it, and I grew up watching Dog the Bounty Hunter, but what are you gonna do? I mean, there's been no other news surrounding that other than the fact that he's involved. I saw something about him talking to the parents, but again, the parents aren't cooperating.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
Right.
You can't force them to cooperate. And again, there's no, like you said, no evidence towards him on the murder charge, so it's not like they can sit him in a room and question him for 13 hours straight.
Right.
So-
I honestly think he's going to be caught by the federales. He's going to be like in Mexico or somewhere.
The government's
randomly.
coming for you.
For real.
And that's scary right now.
Yeah. Government got jurisdiction everywhere.
Well, I think it would be tough since he knows he's a fugitive. I don't see how he would be able to jump the border either way, either direction,
All right.
without some help.
It's
You
true.
know what I'm
Very
saying?
true.
Yeah, and this is the
So-
other thing. What are his connections like? Does his parents have allies, outside
That's
of
it.
the country?
That's a good question. Very good question.
I think right now he's still in these states somewhere,
Yep,
and I
yep.
think he's driving. That's how he's getting places.
Okay.
All right. I don't think he's walking. I don't think he's not flying. I think he's driving in back roads, secluded areas, or it's quite possible he may have
But this
ditched the
is-
cars at this point, and now he's full on walking
Out in the
and
wild, naked and afraid.
I don't know about the whole nation, but
Maybe he
he
is.
could definitely be out in the woods now and doing his thing. And like I said, maybe he didn't go to Cali. The Appalachian Trail is huge,
Yes, it is.
Right.
and that shit stretches across.
All the way up here.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a
But-
lot of places to get lost in there.
It just begs the other question that no matter how he's running, money-wise, how is he
How
doing
is he
it?
doing? That's
because
it.
if he's always running, his parents can't mail him money. They can't wire him money through any type of technological computer, phone device, anything, because he doesn't have that on the run or else he's going to get caught. He can't get it out of his own account because he has the debt fraud, like you had said. And he
Right.
sure as hell can't do it, any of Gabby's stuff because she's dead. They'll fucking
The whole
chime
thing
into
is
that
dead.
right away.
So this is what I think that they should do. Like the feds should be looking at Gabby's money. How much money did they take? Because
And
let's
does
just,
he have access to it, first
how much
of all?
does he have access to? How much is in cash?
Yep, yep.
You know what I mean? And that also speaks to him probably plotting this the entire time. Hey, honey, like bring $20,000. Why do we need $20,000? No, we're traveling around.
Something about them
He
makes
can move
me,
a lot on like 20 grand.
It makes me think that they would be more of the type to depend on cards and stuff like that, just
That's
because of the
interesting, too.
lifestyle that
That's
they
true.
live in
That's
the
true.
van and very simplistic, and we don't want to take up space, organic. And I feel like, just off of what I've seen, I feel like that I don't know if they would have large amounts of cash.
Okay.
You leave it in a van, that's your entire home. What are you going to do? Leave 20 grand in there while you lock it up and go hiking for
That's
the
true.
entire day?
Very true, very
That's
true.
sketchy. You could break in, gone. Your life savings gone.
So let's go in the other direction. Do you think do you both think that he's dead now? Like if there's no like paper trail, he's basically living on nothing.
Well, I don't think he's dead. I think
he's still alive somehow.
I think he's still alive.
And
okay.
I think that if this was planned, I think that he's at least smart enough to think that if he had planned this whole thing, I don't think that he had worried about the money and whatnot. I think that he could have easily gotten a lump sum of cash.
Yeah.
Yep.
The few days while he was back home in Florida with his parents before he left. Now, when he disappears and is into the woods or the mountains or what have you, he's roughnecking it. Realistically, how much money do you guys need when you are walking, living, sleeping in the woods? You may come across like a little mountain town or whatnot, those gas stations, which you need because you would go in, buy some canned food, whatnot. But if you, like you had said, 20 G's, damn, you could live in the mountains
for a very
That's true.
long
Yeah,
time.
if he's going about it that way. But when he had mentioned the driving, I'm talking like if you're driving, you're going to need money. Like,
well, correct. You're going to need it for the gas and whatnot. But like I said, I don't know, once you become a fugitive, you got to realize, too, that cars, you're going to be seen. You're going to be spotted.
Right.
Cameras, tolls.
Yeah, I mean, this is everywhere. Everyone knows about this. They see his face. That's it. Like, cops are getting called, you know?
You think people along the Appalachian Trail, they can identify?
There was already an encounter with a hiker. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Damn.
There could be more. Absolutely. I think... I'm sure that
it's also a matter of like how many people will actually call. I think a lot of people, what if it's not actually him? Like, I don't want to like come make a scene if it's not him, you know? Like,
right, that's
a lot
true.
of people might see him and just keep on walking, you know? A lot of people tend to mind their business to an obnoxious extent sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes you kind of got to be a little nosy and pay attention to your surroundings.
Right.
You got to pay attention.
Right, like peek around the corner and be dialing 911.
Yeah, do something. You know, you got to be clever and smart sometimes. So, you know, maybe it would be something like that. Maybe a clever citizen who sees him and is able to, you know, calmly get the police there and say, listen, no sirens, no nothing. Pull up quietly. He's here. Do what you got to do.
Right. Or if this is a suspect, he looks like this guy.
Right. I'm not sure if it is. I don't want to cause a scene, but better safe than sorry, you know?
Right.
If it's not, great. This guy can go on about his day. But if it is,
yeah,
here we go.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know, though, for now. I mean... just how the weather's been and being in the Appalachian Trail, if you're in the woods and whatnot.
Yep, winter's coming.
Very secluded. You're not going to see too many people. And like you had just said, it is getting cold. Winter is coming. So, I mean, I'm sure that you might come in contact with different hikers and whatnot, but...
There's definitely people out there, because like you said, it stretches from, and a lot of people are into it, you know? I think there's probably still a good amount of people on that trail.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some heroic types that are going to be hikers. Like if I find this guy, I'm whooping his ass.
Yeah, some who might intentionally be
Yeah.
on the trail right now, just looking out for that.
And
you know, you don't know.
Not just dogs.
Neither do I.
Very true.
Right. Now, I got a question for both of you. Do you guys think that dog could catch him before everybody else? Because he has like a special. He doesn't have.
Part
to,
of
like,
me
go
really
through the
hopes
rules.
so.
Yeah.
Part of me really does hope so.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So
just for like the legendariness of it all.
Right.
Yeah, it was part that kind of intrigued or sparked it a little more for me too. Was when like it was like, damn, you guys got Dog the Bounty Hunter involved.
For real.
I will say,
Real kick in the door type.
if Dog the Bounty Hunter finds this dude, right? Then what the fuck are we paying the FBI for?
Yeah,
what
right?
What are
Too
you
much.
doing?
They gotta shape up if dog finds him
You
before
got
they
an entire unit, bro, and
Right.
this is one man that going through the woods and finding this
Right.
dude. But like I said, that's only if he does find him.
Right.
But
Dog, we're rooting for you.
For real. I hope he catches him.
yeah, I mean, it is a horrible thing, but I mean, what makes the story is, yes, the events that happen, but still the chase.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that it's ongoing, it's still
exactly,
You know?
the longer the chase,
That's what's killing me. We're on a cliffhanger. We don't know.
Yeah, forever.
There's just so many different scenarios that could come out of it. Because
that's why it was important to get the predictions.
real.
yes,
We want to
yes.
see how it
It's on record. It's all
how it
here.
all plays out. And like I said, right now we can't even really give a guess. We could give a somewhat of a guess, I guess, you know, I mean, if that made sense, on where he is now, you know, but
It's true.
I mean, I don't even
He
know.
is the hell out of Dodge for sure.
I'm telling you, that boy's in Mexico or somewhere for real.
He's sipping margaritas somewhere.
Yeah.
He don't give a shit.
Maybe. Honestly, like if you really like watch all those movies and stuff about people that are on the run, once you get to another country, it's completely different. It's not on the news 24/7.
Right. No one knows who you are.
Literally nobody knows who you are,
Yep.
especially if you have a beard and you have like you've changed your appearance, cut your hair or whatever. You know, stop wearing shades, like change up your clothing style. He's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting there is half the trouble.
half the trouble.
That's the difficult
Right.
part. And like I said, right now, jumping borders right now.
With COVID, it's true.
Yeah, either way. And being a fugitive, like they're looking for you. So either way,
Right.
you go Canada, it's going to be tough. You go to Mexico right now, it's going to be tough. That's why I say I believe he's still somewhere in the United States.
So which state do you think he's in?
I don't know. I am curious on what's the reasoning. My thing about the whole article too was what's the reasoning? He told this man that he was on his way to Cali. Yes, he could just say that just to throw everybody off,
right.
or you know. But maybe, I mean, but like I said, why? I mean, bro, you just drove. Like you went.
You went the opposite
Florida
way
to Wyoming, right? Then you came all the way back to Florida.
Yeah.
And then you were spotted in Tennessee and North Carolina. And now you're saying you're trying to get all the way back to Cali. Like, what are you doing?
Well, that's the whole point of throwing somebody off.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that if you're really trying to throw somebody off, are you going to tell them where you're planning to go?
That's it. Like, hey, am I going?
It's reverse psychology. He's not actually going there.
Right.
He doesn't want to go to Cali.
He doesn't want to go to Cali.
Why are you going to go to Cali? There's cameras everywhere you go in Cali.
They watching you.
Hills have eyes in Cali. Come on now.
Oh no.
I don't know. Well, like the hiker had said, this guy looked mentally shot. Who knows? Like, who knows what his state of mind is right now? I don't know. Maybe he thinks that there's some form of safety or some place in Cali that he could go to. I mean, I'm sure at this point, the amount of stress and trying to think of anywhere, like where can I go for safety or some peace? It's going to be tough to find.
Or maybe
other than his parents' house.
Exactly.
Which you never go to again.
It's right under their nose, though. I'm like, I don't know.
You think he's like
maybe
buried in a bunker or something?
You never know. Some people, that vegetable garden, I think we should tear that up and look underneath.
Jesus.
I'm just saying.
All right. Now, you guys don't think that the parents did anything malicious, like, all right, we're going to off him too now, because you don't think that anything crazy like that has happened?
I really, really hope not, because then they would take a whole new meaning to what we were talking about earlier with the parents sculpting their children.
No, I think they've just taken it to the extreme of where they
I think they're helping to hide him.
Exactly. They're going to do everything that they can in their willpower to help their son, despite what he did.
Well, this is national news. They're gonna throw the book at them too.
Yeah,
if they catch them. Yeah,
which I'm sure that they are fully aware of, and that they're prepared for that too.
Jesus.
But I'm sure being as parents and whatnot, they know. I mean, they're gonna feel broken, destroyed, whatever, when their son gets caught, or if he gets caught.
Right.
And I think, prison for life.
Yeah, I mean, if
you get convicted.
If he's guilty, they're immediately going to look at his parents and think, you knew nothing about this. Nothing.
That's fucking crazy.
Like,
well, they did, or they do.
They do.
So,
yes.
It's just like I said, who knows? You don't know how involved they were, what they did, but
apparently very, very involved. They're only living with them,
right,
for a year before.
For real.
But
we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see. You guys got any more questions, thoughts about this story? I mean, you guys gave us the predictions, so.
No, it's just wild how many different ways it could come out.
Right. I think it's just crazy how all of this happened it speaks a lot to social media because they're on top of it. Speaks a lot to them pulling out a bounty hunter. They're really trying like literally everything that they can do to catch this
Pulling
man.
out all the stops.
Pulling out all the stops. And they still don't have anything on them once they get them, if they do. You know what I mean? And there's so many questions that's unanswered. How much money does he have? You know, are the parents part of it?
How is he traveling?
How is he traveling? Why did the police take 4 days to like actually start chasing after this man?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully when this all comes to an end, if it comes to an end, hopefully we will be able to
I hope
find
I'm
those
here
answers.
to see it.
Yeah.
You know, hope it's not one of those things that goes on for years on end.
Right.
Hope the family gets some closure and peace too, because it's, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, it is sad. We should say, our thoughts and prayers to Gabby's family.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even picture what they're going through at this time. So, but,
yes, definitely. Lots of thoughts and prayers.
All right. Anything else?
No, we good.
No? All right. So, Sarah, thanks again for coming back on.
Of course. Thank you for having me again. It's always fun.
We really appreciate it.
No problem.
We do appreciate it. We always like to say that we're creating art and making history, so we appreciate you being a part of it.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Anyone or anything you'd like to plug or shout out?
Yeah, I'll plug my TikTok account, which is Sarah with an H, J Molnar, Molnar. And my Instagram is Sarah with 2 H's and Molnar with 2 R's, I think.
Nice.
If not, my Instagram is also linked to my TikTok, so
There you go.
there you go.
You want to hit them with your social?
Yeah, man. My Twitter is Retro Show, RetroSho. You see the Kermit, you know it's me. And YouTube, which is Show Retro. So that in reverse. And you'll find me on YouTube. And I'm doing the retro gaming content. We loving it. It's amazing. And I'm going to put out my next video on Monday. So yeah, check it out if you're into that.
All right. You guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. My Facebook is Joshua Toth. Big shout out to our editor, YO, aka Jackson Wallace.
Shout outs.
Yeah, also big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media. Anyone looking for studio time or wants a filmed music video done, contact stellarsoundandmedia@gmail.com. We'd like to also shout out all our day oneers. Thank you for your love and support that you show us. We see all of you and we love you.
Yes, we do.
Once again, we also want to thank you all for helping us get to 1,000 listens on Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, let's keep making that grow.
Thank you.
So, the message option on Anchor.
So on Anchor, if you click on this video or any other of the videos, you will have a message option that you can press down and you can leave us a voice message. Try and keep it 30 seconds to 45 seconds. You can ask us questions. You can ask questions about this very episode. I know you guys are going to love this episode.
Yes,
And-
we want questions.
Oh yeah.
I like answering questions.
Yeah. And we can answer it live.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we could actually bring you on if they have a question for you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
have you record the
Even
message.
if it's about the last episode too, I'm
For
down.
real.
So go check that out too.
Yeah, please check it out.
Yeah, click on that audio message.
Yeah.
Use it. Leave a voice message.
Yep.
And we'll answer it live.
Yep, on the next show. Yes, sir.
All right. Lastly, remember, please find us on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google.
And Google.
And by using the platform of your choice, please subscribe, follow, share, comment, leave a quick review and a 5-star rating
Please
on the
bless.
Apple page.
Give some love.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. That's
Show
what
the
I'm talking
podcast
about.
some love.
Show the podcast love.
All right, my man, that's a wrap. Sarah, thanks again.
Of course.
Thank you, Sarah.
No problem.
All right, everyone, stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.
Peace out.
From my dad, like he sent me like the